What do you nerdigans? This is the one and only Packer Girl 89, and today's hashtag book nerdigan discussion is World After by Susan E. And this is the second book in the Penryn and the End of Day series. If you have not read Angel Fall or World After, or have watched my book nerdigan discussion on either on Angel Fall, excuse me, then seriously, what the commie are you doing here? Because you're not going to understand what I'm talking about unless you have read the books or have watched my Angel Fall book nerdigan discussion. So, as you can see on the cover, it's Rafi's Demon Wings. And you'll notice a pattern if you haven't been able to tell on the cover of Angel Fall. I just realized this too. On the cover of Angel Fall, it was Rafi's angel wings, his archangel wings. So, as the theme with Angel Fall, I am going to try and stick to the angel mythology because Penryn and the End of Days series has a lot of love by the booktubing community. So hopefully this video is not going to be as long as some of my other book nerdigan discussion videos. So, I'm sorry, Susan E. It's just the truth. So, anyway, thank you, Minnie Puppa, for showing the beautiful cover, and let's get to it. So, this book continues right where it left off, where Penryn is paralyzed, and it's after Rafi delivers her to the Resistance, to her mother and Penryn is stitched up. She's like a Frankenstein kind of thing, kind of looking, and she got stung by the imperfect cells, or the locust angels, or not the locusts. They haven't revealed the name, that they are the locusts, the scorpion angels. And I tend to realize that if you don't get absorbed by cell, or the imperfect cells, that the venom wears off. The venom isn't deadly. And I want to point this out too, because this is going to come up in my hashtag book nerdigan rant on the Immortal City series, because that's why I'm doing this hashtag AngelReadAthon. And I understand why Susan called the last book The End of Days, is that, here's the quote, "Everyone was plastered to the news during the early days when reporters were still reporting. Paris in flames, New York flooded, Moscow destroyed." And I put in my notes, hashtag get wrecked. "Who shot Gabriel, the messenger of God? Angels too agile for missiles. And national leaders scared and lost. The end of days." And I'm telling you, this is going to come up. So make sure you guys understand that. And in this world, as I mentioned in the Angel Fall book nerdigan discussion, you can either be in a gang, resistance, or cult. And this one, you see a lot of gang activity, and I'm going to spoil a little bit of the End of Days for you. In the End of Days, you get to see how the cults are, what the cults are like. The cults are really weird, by the way. And I love it when Penryn can start moving again. And everyone's like, "Zombie! Zombie!" And Penryn's like, "I'm not a goddamn zombie!" And I love D-Dum, I love what Penryn says about D-Dum after they defended her. Which is, you think that looking like a set of strung-out Ronald McDonalds with the names Tweedledee and Tweedledum would strip them of all authority, but somehow these guys seem to have a talent for going from joking to deadly in a heartbeat. So they're going to Palo Alto High, or Pally High, and I love that I know where that is. And thank Commie, it's not East Palo Alto High, because if you are in the Bay Area, you know about East Palo Alto High having a bad reputation. And this is where the Resistance is staying, and they're staying in different classrooms. And I love how Susan E. has, in her writing in the series, how she has the world after and the world before. And of course, Penryn's mother has the rotten egg still. And I love how the rotten eggs come into play. And Penryn's mother is a freaking genius. That's all I gotta say. I'm going to give you an example of the writing. Because they're in the classroom, and on the walls they have on the classroom wall there's posters of Confucius, Gandhi, the Dalai Lama, Florence Nightingale, and Helen Keller. And I like that what what Penryn is thinking is, would she have turned out like them if we weren't in the world after? And I just remember Penryn said, actually described Paige as their own Dalai Lama. This part was so funny. So remember, you're going to see this in the Fae Book Nerdigan discussion, and Rafi mentioned this as well, is that names have power. And I know, and Penryn was joking, but I love it, Didum's reaction about naming the sword Pookie Bear. Here's the quote. You're naming your collector's item Kick-Ass Sword that's made to maim and kill, specifically designed to bring down ginormous enemies to their knees. And here the lamination of women. Pookie Bear? Even joking about that is a crime against nature. You know that, right? I'm trying desperately not to make an anti-girl comment right now, but you're making it pretty hard. And as they're walking in the hall, remember in Angel Fall that angel parts are extremely valuable, and Penryn says, a pair of middle-aged men exchange a feather for a prescription bottle of pills. I guess this is the world after's version of a drug deal. And as they're walking to Obi's office, Penryn gets a sandwich off the food cart, and that basically means if that happens, you're in the in crowd of the resistance. And then if you get and then they get into Obi's office, and then if you get a Snickers from Obi's office, then you're in the inner sanctum of the resistance. So, and then Obi says, we're setting up a surveillance system around the Bay Area, and it pays to have so many geniuses in the valley that can make the impossible possible again. And I have to say that I knew living in the Bay Area had its benefits, but this is awesome because the Silicon Valley is full of freaking geniuses. And a lot of them commute, I will say this, a lot of them do commute from the East Bay Area as well, so I kind of would love to know what was going on further inland, because the peninsula is in the South Bay. So so they have the system set up, and they notice angels are in Sunnyvale on the Lawrence Expressway, and then you have the angels in SFO, and I always wondered how they got the name SFO from San Francisco International Airport. So I looked it up, and so SFO opened on May 7th, 1927 on 150 acres of cow pasture, and the land was leased from Ogden L. Mills, who had leased it from his grandfather, Darius O. Mills. So that's probably where the O came from, was the O in Darius O. Mills, or the O in Ogden. And it was named Mills Field Municipal Airport until 1931. And when it became San Francisco Municipal Airport, and municipal was replaced by international in 1955. So I just thought it would be interesting to give you guys that fact, you nerdigans, that fact. And in SFO, or not inside SFO, on the tarmac, you see Rafi kicking Belial's ass to get his wings back, and that scene is so badass. And Rafi and Penryn's just like in love because she's seeing Rafi mastered his wings, or Belial's wings, I should say, and mastered the scythes that are on Belial's wings. And Sanjay has a theory, and this is going to come into play during the Angel series by L.A. Weatherly, which is, my theory is that the world rips when they invade. This is what triggered the earthquakes, tsunamis, the weather disturbances, everything catastrophic that caused the majority of the damage and death. It wasn't the angels themselves who controlled nature when they invaded. They are living, breathing creatures just like us. They may have abilities we don't have, but they're not godlike. And of course, the rebels struck the Eyrie when all the fighters were gone, and no wonder the fighter angels are pissed the fuck off. And Clara, who was, I didn't mention her in the Angel Fall Book Nerdigan discussion video, but she ends up becoming, who Clara is, if you guys don't remember, is she is one of the girls that Penryn saw going into the Eyrie in the financial district, and she was getting slowly absorbed by one of the imperfect cells. And and Penryn actually freed her from the imperfect cell. There we go. So, and this is what she says about the scorpion angels, or as I say, the imperfect cells. And he said, or the scientist angel said, I think it was the human maybe too. He said the monster would liquefy my insides and drink them. Said the mature ones wouldn't go all the way and kill if they could help it, but the developing ones would. So now we know kind of have an idea of what getting absorbed by cell might be like. And oh my god, so I loved this part. So when Dee-Dum was talking about the nuclear cows, and they were saying we should just launch a nuclear missile near a pasture of cows so the cows could have superpowers. And I'm like, oh my god, we need nuclear cows missile, and then we should launch the cows on nukes. And I was thinking, nuclear cow missiles, oh my god, and then I was thinking, no wait, we need nuclear goat missiles, because that would defeat ISIS, but that's a whole different story. And then another example of the world after writing, and I was cracking the fuck up. I'm pretty sure I saw Zuckerberg digging the latrine ditch next to Rafi at the camp a few days ago. I guess $1 billion doesn't buy much respect in the world after. Yes, it doesn't, but sexuality apparently does. And another one was, I watched them and watched me, and I know there's no such thing as a safe harbor in the world after. So, so I thought this part was cool. So the angel sword, or I should say Pookie Bear, was giving Penryn training in her sleep, because remember at the end of Angelfall, the sword was controlling her. And so she saw one of Rafi's memories, and she saw the wives of the Watchers were given to the Hellions. And it was so badass for Rafi was actually trying to stop them. And the sword, again, as I mentioned, the sword is training Penryn in her dreams, and I thought it was badass. And so Penryn, I thought this was hilarious when Penryn went to go dress up Pookie Bear with a plushy bear that's donning a multi-layer chiffon skirt made from a wedding veil, and I loved what she said. It was great. And she said, "Come on, admit it, Pookie Bear. You love your new look. All the other swords will be jealous." And then I put and then I wrote in my notes here, when she felt so low, I loved that the sword cheered her up. So the concepts echoed with sexy images, this is what I put, concepts echoed with sexy images of Rafi and Penryn's head via the sword, glory, victory, honor. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet of Pookie Bear to cheer her up. And I was cracking up because Penryn was trying to get Pookie Bear to train her, and the Pookie Bear wasn't cooperating, and then she said, "Right, well, I guess that I have nothing better to do now than decorate the teddy bear with ribbons and bows. So what do you think of Dusty Pink?" And then I thought this was interesting, and I like when authors do this, and I kind of wish that that Jessica Shervington did it with Lincoln, but as I said in the Empower Book Nerdigan discussion video, having Lincoln explain his story is okay, but we had a Phoenix chapter from his point of view, so that's okay. So we find out the Hellions have been hunting Rafi for centuries, and they were actually about to get him when the story of Angelfall began. And I love seeing the story from Rafi's point of view. And apparently, Penryn not only saved Rafi from the gangs, but she saved him from the Hellions by accident when she was calling for her mom, and it confused because it confused them when she was calling for them. And apparently, the Hellions were still chasing them throughout Angelfall, and I thought it was sweet when seeing Rafi's point of view when he saw that Penryn was having a nightmare, or not Penryn was having a nightmare. Penryn was cold and Rafi cuddled with her. I was like, oh, Rafi is so cute. And I thought it was so sweet when Rafi was thinking his last thought before he blacked out. Is that his Watchers would have liked this girl. I was like, oh, Rafi. And Penryn got kind of pissed because the traitor sword will not reveal how Rafi felt during their kiss. And and then Deedham dyed their hair blonde so they don't look like strung out Ronald McDonald's anymore. And they have declared librarian mud fights, and I started cracking up. So then what happens, what I thought was crazy, so you have Paige is treated like a freak, and people from the Resistance are trying to kill her, and one of the guys that tries to kill her ends up being really cool near the end, and I love character development, but from Susan E. with this one guy, but Paige's cries, and when Paige cries, the swarm of the imperfect cells, or the Scorpion Angels, attack everybody and defend her and take her away. And apparently the angels have been turning kids into low-level demons by the order of Uriel, which is really crazy. And then I loved... Oh, no. Oh, and then afterwards, what her mom did... what Pemron's mom did was she put some of the victims together and put a sign on them that said, this will happen to you if this, you're next if you touch me, or something like that. And I started cracking up. And it was so sad because people thought their victims were dead, or family members were dead, and were burying them alive, which is crazy. So these people were burying their family members alive, and one of the parents said, one of the dads was saying that he didn't want them to turn out like Clara, and I was just like, wow, the bigotry is real. And oh, and then we got to, this was really sad. So they're in the back of the police car, and because Obi put them there, and Pemron and her mom, and her mom's psycho meltdown led to a bitch slap. Yeah, she bitch slapped Pemron, and no kid needs to hear this from their mom about how it's all her fault. And I thought it was so sweet that Pookie Bear cheered them up. Oh, I'm sorry, I mixed up the scene. The first scene I was talking about with the angel sword cheering her up was when they were, and Rafi said that the Watchers would have liked this girl. That was when they were in the office. I'm sorry. That was when they were in the office building. This dream with the angel sword was when they were in the cabin. And I thought this was so sweet that that Pookie Bear was cheering her up. And the Hellions were in the guest cottage too, which was insane, which is really scary if you think about it. And also when they wake up, when Pemron wakes up, you realize that Pemron's mom actually saved lives, because they're not being buried alive. These are Scorpion Angel victims, not buried alive. They're just in this pile. And Claire's in the car, and yes, the zombies confirmed. And I loved Deedham. Deedham is awesome, because they brought the keys to Clara, and they labeled the keys, and they did it really slick. And they labeled Pemron's police car they labeled it Pemron's police car super secret. And you know how Pemron's mom has schizophrenia, and she's like talking to her devil box. So it turns out her devil box was a prototype device for tracking pets that was made by her dad. And it uses how it works is it uses a tiny tracker, and it's waterproof and impact resistant. And this is what Pemron said. She said, "My dad showed it to us once, and apparently my mom liked it." Yeah, the quote starts with a prototype device for tracking pets. It uses a tiny tracker, waterproof and impact resistant. My dad showed it to us once. Apparently my mom liked it, and it cost him his engineering job. I don't tell her, Clara, this is what Pemron's thinking, that by the time he finally left us, he was working night shifts at 7-Eleven, our nearest convenience store, where Mom can sit in the corner while he worked with the cash register. And seriously, never underestimate crazy people. So basically, Pemron's mom put the transmitters in Paige's and Pemron's yellow stars, and this is how Pemron's mom kept popping up where Rafi and Pemron saw her. Pemron kept seeing her, and And luckily Clara is a nurse and she understands Mom's condition, but Clara, of course, had to ruin the damn moment. And by saying the world is going crazy doesn't mean your mother is still crazy too. And Clara is calling Pemron a hero, and Pemron, doesn't think she's a hero. That same spiel. You see that a lot. And this is what Claire said. Claire is right. You broke me out of that living horror's grasp when I thought all horror was gone. You gave me the opportunity to crawl back to life when no one else could. So, yeah. Now they're at Pier 39, Fisherman's Wharf, and it is freaking destroyed. Another hashtag get wrecked, except for those bastard sea lions. I'm sorry if you like sea lions, but fuck, sea lions are annoying as shit. Sea lions will survive anything, I guess. Where are the sharks when you need them? So, it's weird. Well, it's not weird. I guess it's a good thing that Paige is on Alcatraz and not Angel Island. It would have been so freaking ironic if the Angels chose Angel Island. But on Alcatraz, it's full of the Scorpion Angels. And, yeah, Belial is setting up a trap, Rafi. It's a trap. And this is what Belial said. And what Belial said kind of reminded me a little bit of something Vegeta would say. He said, all this theory of a master warrior race can only survive if every little infraction of the rules is punished to the extreme. It may have made sense once upon a time when there were only a few rules, but now things have gotten out of hand, don't you think? We, the Fallen, on the other hand, have proven that a master warrior race can survive just fine with the opposite system. No rules. You do what you want to whoever you want. And, yeah, this is going to come up a lot in the hashtag AngelReadAthon. And I swear to Kami, this proves that the Sweet Evil, I don't know if Susan E. did this on purpose, but I swear to Kami, the Sweet Evil trilogy has by Wendy Higgins has to be involved here. I don't think it's done on purpose, it just is. Because what Belial says here is, I've had my life of freedom and rampage. It's time for a change, a little respectability, a little well-deserved admiration, don't you think? I am not a minion. I've never been a minion. Not for angels, not for devils, not for anybody. And then he was captured. Oh, wait. Oh, no, that was so Pemron and Clara and Pemron's mom were all captured, as well as a bunch of other humans. And there was this scene that was really sad, where these two lovers were separated from each other. Oh my God, it was really sad. And poor Sword, they took all their weapons and stuff, and poor Pookie Bear was buried in all the shit. So Uriel confirms that the Scorpion Angels / the Imperfect Cells are called locusts, and the main asshole is the locust with the gray streak, and he's getting his rocks off torturing Pemron, and yeah, she will really enjoy killing that bastard. And I'm not going to say anything because you will see it in the End of Days in the next book, and the last book of the series, the End of Days. I can't talk for some reason. But anyway, I swear to Kami, Alcatraz is I swear, it's Auschwitz. I really would love to know if Susan E. got inspired by the Holocaust and by World War II, because that's what it sounds like. And yes, Silicon Valley has a hood. They do. Because there's gangsters there. And so this is how she describes the cell that she's in. Now we live in a world where those Ivy League educated mega alphas are jammed up behind bars with the likes of street school gang members like Mr. Tattoo arguing over who has the right to smoke. Welcome to the world after. And so they started a fight, and they go the guards, or one of the human guards, who's a doctor, and with the guards actually, they go into this lab, and you see how the locusts originally started off as humans and mutated into the locusts, and oh my God, it was so creepy. Oh my God, Arceus, that was creepy. And then Alpha and Tattoo kick ass and put the guards into the tanks with some of the fully grown locusts. And I swear to Kami, tell the traitor, Tattoo, swear to Kami, he says, your human privileges are being revoked, asshole. And out of all the things, out of all the players that have Paige's footage on it, it's a fucking Betamax. What is the Betamax you speak of? And seriously, why isn't Paige's video on at least a VHS? I'd love to know why it's not at least on a VHS. And I loved how, so now we're getting to the footage with Paige and Belial. And I love how Paige told Belial who's boss, and she's basically telling him, fuck you, and all that shit. And Belial protected Paige and called him a little worm and treated her like a pet until Uriel mentioned Rafi being back, and then he abandoned her to the medical team and tossed her and didn't look back. And Paige kept asking for Belial until they turned her. And Uriel is making, what's going on is Uriel is making the kids look like Nephilim. And the quote here is, abominations. They were to look like unnatural children that ate people. They were to roam the earth and terrorize the population as part of the angels' endless political machinations. You gotta fucking love angel politics. And by the way, Nephilim, in a lot of books in the hashtag AngelReadAthon, they're with Nephilim, they're not abominations, I will say that, but there's a few angel theories where they will be abominations. Or they would be called abominations by angels, but they're really not. So you'll see. And Paige is, so what's going on is Paige is looking for Belial, and because according to the doctor, he's the only one that understands the soul-shattering pain, or you know, it's got to be Stockholm syndrome, and I think that sounds right. And if you don't know what Stockholm syndrome is, look it up, please. And Paige, according to the doctor, is the last hope. And since the doctor here was sneaky and altered the kids, and she is the new heir, and she is at the new Airy in Half Moon Bay, and Pookie Bear actually shows a vision, which I thought was interesting, and that Rafi takes a white thread in Penryn's hair and threads it onto the hilt of the sword for luck. So I guess Pookie is wishing Penryn luck, which I thought was cool. So then you got the decorations for, the girls are decorations for Uriel, and they have to have twins. So she's going, basically, if you didn't realize that, she's going with a twin person, a girl that looks exactly like her, because the human girls are decorations. And so Layla said they were planning this apocalypse for 10 months. And Uriel, and this is, I gotta say this is some Eisen type shit. And so Layla is a chimeraologist, but it's, think of it kind of like the chimeraologist in FMA, but in Full Metal Alchemist, but she's actually a better chimeraologist. And what Uriel's plan is have everyone behind hidden behind a mask, and women wear wigs, and angels have women wear wings. I don't know why I read it as wigs. So the women are going to wear wings, and the angels have Nephilim and beg Uriel to save them in exchange for the foe. And what Uriel confirms that now is Judgment Day, and the legendary apocalypse is here, and the locusts are supposed to be the biblical locusts. And I swear to Kami, it's become a brawl and a massacre, and Rafi's there too, and Rafi is just in freaking shock that that Penryn is alive, which I thought was, it was like an oh moment, oh my god, but still. And yes, high heels are lethal weapons, especially not just any high heels, stilettos are lethal weapons, period. And seriously, Rafi was getting distracted, and Belial is still attacking you. I was just like, damn. And I was so impressed and laughing at the same time when Penryn stabbed one of the angels in the nuts. I was like, oh, with a stiletto. It was like, it was awesome. And then Rafi saved Penryn and flew her and held her in his arms, and they were surviving through hypothermia in an abandoned beach house. And Rafi is so freaking, well, angels are naturally warm. They have this natural high body heat, and that's because they have to survive up in the clouds, up in the class. So I love what Rafi says. He says, "You are so great at creative solutions. They usually involve ripping, tearing, kicking, or stabbing, but they're creative." I love it. So we find out why, and Rafi explains why Judgment Day is important, and it's because each of the fellow angels has a brother that has fallen, and they will get their trial at Judgment Day, which is at the end of the apocalypse. And then we got more flying in Rafi's arms. And by the way, something I forgot to mention is that one of the things that they had, the doctor actually snuck Penryn out to get to the Eyrie on a ship. And I love it during that scene that Penryn's mom is just causing all the alarms to go off. I was laughing. That thing was funny. And you know, they were trying to convince the boat driver to save everyone on Alcatraz, but he was being an asshole. And Deedam came through because what she did was Penryn just dropped the note, and Deedam got the message, and the Resistance saved the people from Alcatraz. And I love that Mom drew a heart on the locust that is tied up with the words Penryn and Paige in the center, and then started to draw flowers with the lipstick. That was funny as hell. And then we have, I thought it was really sweet when Clara was reunited with her family on Pier 39. Her daughters recognized her right away, or her youngest daughter recognized her right away. And her eldest daughter was like hesitant, but she, as soon as she recognized her voice or whatever, or as soon as the youngest knew it was her, the eldest accepted her. And then I was so happy that the husband accepted her, and I don't think the husband's going to divorce her at all. And so Pookie Bear, the Archangel swords intimidate the other angel swords, and she was made so the other swords quiver in their scabbards. And I love Rafi. She was made for the ultimate respect. How is she supposed to get that disguised as a teddy bear in a bridal gown? And Penryn says, "It's not a bridal gown, it's a skirt for her scabbard, and it's cute." And Rafi's like, "She hates cute. She wants to maim and scar cute." And Penryn says, "Nobody hates cute." And Rafi says, "Angel swords hate cute." I love that. I love when they bicker. It's funny. Their moments are hilarious. So, and then they go flying back to the area. And then Rafi says, "You mean I'm devastated?" Because you know, Penryn was asking Rafi if he was afraid, and Rafi says, "You mean I'm devastatingly handsome when I'm not afraid?" Because she said he was cute when she said that Rafi was cute when he was afraid, and Rafi says, "You mean I'm devastatingly handsome when I'm not afraid because you've never seen me afraid?" And I just started cracking up. So this was insane. When I was like, holy commie and Arceus, when Paige unleashed the locust on Belial, and I was just like, holy shit, I did not expect that. And Belial is right, and Paige said, or not Paige, Penryn said, Belial is right, he is unloved and unwanted. And Rafi slices his wings off Belial, and the locust absorbed Belial. Belial is still alive, keep in mind, but he absorbed him. And so Penryn just shattered Burnt sword and killed him. Remember the burnt angel, but I think he's the burnt, I think he's a demon, to be honest. And something that I'm curious about, actually, is if Burnt is one of the Watchers. And I want to know if you guys do too, especially after you read The End of Days. And I'm going to ask that question again in the End of Days Book Nerdigan discussion video now that I'm thinking about it. And, yeah, the sword is pissed. And that's right, Angel Swords. Oh, never mind. He's not a demon or a watcher because he has an angel sword. So he's an angel. Excuse me. I misstated that. So, yeah, the sword is pissed. And that's right, Angel Swords, unsheath yourselves and bow to the almighty Pookie Bear. Seriously, you guys, those Angel Swords are not fucking worthy of the almighty Pookie Bear. And Paige can control the locust, as they take her and Belial away. And then Rafi and Penryn become one with the swarm, and he still has Belial's wings on him, and they have Rafi's wings too, and that's how this book ends. I love this book more than Angel Fall, I will say that. I definitely liked Pookie Bear, and I love the twins, especially the nuclear cow missiles. And the other thing I forgot to mention is how the gang system works, and how they were the gangs were in control and distributing food with the resistance. Well, the resistance controlled the gangs in that area a little bit. But I want to know what you guys thought of this book. I want to know what you guys thought of Clara's character development. I want to know what you guys thought of Pookie Bear scaring the shit out of the other angel swords. I want to know what you guys thought of Rafi's character development. And what do you guys think of the Hellions? Because the Hellions are going to play a big role in the End of Days. And what did you guys think of this writing? Especially, I like the writing in here. And the other question I have for you guys too is, what did you think about Belial? Because we're going to find out next book why we're going to get Belial's background story. And also, what do you guys think of Tweedledee and Tweedledum? I love them. They are so funny. I really do love them so much. And what did you guys think of the fight scenes in this book? The fight scenes I didn't touch on them too much, but the fight scenes were really good, especially when, oh, hold on a second. I'm sorry. Especially when when they were fighting, the angels at the Eyrie. I thought that scene was badass as hell. So remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And remember to donate to my Patreon, which I will leave a link in the description below. And also make sure you guys follow me on Twitter so you guys can see where I'm at in my Book Nerdigan, so you can get my Book Nerdigan updates and know where I'm at with my hashtag AngelReadAthon. And until next time, I will see you in the End of Days. Bye!